enhancing our natural landscapes and giving people across the globe longer, healthier, happier lives. With your support, the R&D Foundation will ensure our sport creates a better future because golf matters.
Yeah, well, thank you. The profits.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. That means my man Peter Blake is here with me on Hump Day.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you, Peter. How are you?
Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. We have, it's the day after the All-Star game, so a lot of times it's not the most exciting time. But we're going to have a great show today. I absolutely guarantee it.
We always are. We always do that here on a happy Hump Day edition.
Hump Day. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got our coffee. We got all our topics here. We're ready to go. It's going to be
right there.
What do you got? What are you drinking there?
I got a little Monster Loca Mocha Java Monster right there. Coffee and energy at the same time. So I'm already naturally excited and all that other stuff. So now I'm about to be even more excited and getting ready to do the JP Peterson Show. I'm ready to go, my friend.
I got my Hydrate Heroes here. We're presented by Hydrate Heroes, of course. HydrateHeroes.com. We love them.
Yes.
Who Michael Gardner was out this weekend, as were you. And thank you so much for you and Ray Kennedy going out to support Shaquille and Shaquem Griffin in their Rebuild the Hood first football camp. Can't wait for years to come when they're going to get in Tropicana Field. That was fun. So thank you for coming out for that, supporting that. We have a show up on YouTube that you can watch anytime you want to get a feel for what that was all about. Those guys doing great work there. So we want to support them and hope you do as well. All right, we got lots to get to today. We're going to be talking about the Rays and the second half, what we expect. Very interesting graph that I retweeted this morning showing factually what I've been saying for many, many years, and many in the media have refuted and constantly called this a low revenue team. They can't afford to pay their players. They're a small market team, which is factually untrue. We're the 11th largest market. That is not small by any means. Don't know what your definition of small is, but to me, that's not small.
Oh,
That's a
you
big
mean,
market.
wait a minute. They're supposed to be small markets, so they're taking their money and putting it in separate. You don't say. You don't say.
Well, it's a small market if you consider it just St. Petersburg.
Right.
You build a stadium over there. Yeah, and then you have a very small market. But if you look at the DMA, what we call the media size of the market, it's number 11. It fluctuates between 11 and 12 with Miami. But we'll be in the top 10 probably within the next 5 years because of all you people moving here, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
At first, it was kind of a source of pride. Now I'm like, get the hell out of here. Everything's getting more crowded, more expensive. Go away. At first, it was.
Yes, we're closed.
Go back to whence you came. Yeah, because we want to keep our Tampa Bay area the beautiful, wonderful place that it is, and not be invaded by those of you who don't share our culture, so to speak, our blue collar, wonderful culture. So, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to get into that. The All-Star game last night was the fastest All-Star game since 1990 something.
Wow.
Thankfully, because it was, I found it excessively boring. By the way, boomer alert. They're introducing.
I fell asleep for that too. I didn't watch the whole thing, so yeah, I wasn't.
Well, I couldn't get past the introductions. Like the most. I mean, and again, I know I'm 60 plus years old, soon to be 62. The house music for all the introductions, like for like 10 minutes straight, from the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, Polsky. It's just awful. That's awful. That's where we're at now.
Yes.
Come on, man.
That's where we're at. Yes.
I know I'm old, but come on.
Faster game now. You got walk-up music, which is not bad.
Walk-up music I love. It's like real music, but like a 25-minute loop of house music to introduce the baseball all-stars. Anybody else just like I mean, it was just, that was as ear screeching as the home run derby national anthem. What the hell was that?
Well, how about you do this? How about you play this while you're doing the intros? How about this? Here we go.
The ending is like excruciating. It was this Ingrid Andreas.
Yes. Which, by the way, she came out yesterday and said she was drunk.
Yeah. We knew that, honey. We already knew. Yeah. Next thing you're going to tell me is the Trump assassination was a Secret Service setup. Yeah, we got that. We got that. We're good. Yeah.
Now,
obvious things sometimes don't need to be said. You know, like, yes, we got it.
Pitcher, Paul Ski.
I can't even do it good. I don't even know how they do that. Drop the beat now.
Wait.
No, not that.
It's that one right there.
As annoying as that is. We got to the end yet? Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. Ready? Here it is.
Oh my God. Oh.
Horrible. Absolutely atrocious.
Welcome to the show, Rick. Once again, crushing it. The All-Star game should go to rehab now. Yes, the entire thing should go to rehab.
I think we all have to go to rehab after hearing that rendition.
And I'll just, boomer alert again. I mean, when I was growing up, the All-Star game was the shiz.
Yes, it was.
It was like, man, you look forward to it. You look forward to the lineups. You look forward to the matchups. You were just like, man, you knew every player. You knew everything. I mean, there were guys out there. I'm like, who? What? And I know that's my fault. I should know every All-Star.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's hard. It's just it doesn't have the sizzle. Now, I'll be interested to see what the ratings, because there was nothing going up against the RNC convention, which I had to keep flipping over because, by the way, Madeline Brain, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Yes.
She did a speech last night that you should go look up on YouTube.
Okay.
There were some great speeches last night. I thought DeSantis was really good. Vivek Ramaswamy was great as well. But Madeline Brame, she is a mother of a veteran who was murdered. No, not in Afghanistan, where he did like 3 tours. Nope, he wasn't shot there by the Taliban. When he came home to the streets of New York, he was stabbed by a man who was let off multiple times for violent crimes by their DA, Alvin Bragg. Should have been in jail, should have been thrown under the jail, should never have been let out. But the lack of enforcement of our laws let these, like the immigrants that beat up the cops and shoot at the cops, they just let them go in New York. They let him go and knifed her son. He survived all that, serving his country, and got knifed. And her speech was, she's one of the greatest speakers I've ever seen. She was amazing. Madeline Brame, go look her up and watch her speech. And if you're not moved by that, boy, you don't have a heart, you don't have a soul. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I that All-Star game was so boring. I was watching the RNC convention. That's how boring.
Wow.
So I don't, I know we talk about this in the Pro Bowl. I think the NHL All-Star game is pretty. When they first started the 3-on-3, it was really good. Now, of course, it's morphed into something that's maybe not as good. But the baseball All-Star game is the most kind of realistic competition because, you got the pitchers are trying really hard. The batters are trying really hard. You can't say that about the NBA All-Star game. You can't say that certainly about the NFL All-Star game, Pro Bowl. The NHL, clearly nobody wants to play defense at all, or there's no defense to be played. Never has been. So it's just weird, right? So baseball is as close to the real game of any of the All-Star games. But even with that, it just seems like there's no sizzle. Why is that? You guys have any ideas? Like, why is it there just no? I think a lot of it is because of interleague play. Because back in the day, the American League and National League the two shall meet. And so you never saw, some of the great pitchers in the American League or National League going up against the great American League All-Stars. So you always look forward to those matchups. And I think at the core, that's it. That's what made the All-Star game special, because you just never saw those two cross over. Now, is interleague play, the fact that we get to see all the players come to your stadium, does that trump making the All-Star game more interesting? I would say yes. I think it's best for baseball that you see all the players, because you could go through your entire fandom and never see Ken Griffey Jr. come to your stadium. I mean, that was kind of you never see him. And so that's a shame. As a baseball fan, you should see every great player in the game. Like, you want to see Ohtani play at the Trop, right? You want to see that. So I think that's overall better for baseball, but there's no question it has hurt the luster of the All-Star game. I think the way it's produced with all the bells and whistles, it's completely overhyped. That's obviously true. What else? I mean, what else it just doesn't have. I think also maybe,
look,
back in the day, we had 4 channels, right? We had 4 channels, and rarely did we, you didn't have baseball on every single night.
Right.
So to see all the stars come together, it was something special. So that's part of it as well. I don't think we can ignore that. So, but other than that, I mean, it just doesn't have the sizzle.
Well, baseball does a terrible job of promoting their athletes. They do a terrible job of promoting their young stars. Although you hear a lot about Paul Skeens, the pitcher from Pittsburgh, but besides, who else do you know? I just think
that's probably because he dates Livy Dunn.
Well, there you go. I mean, right there. That's the reason why you pay attention in the first place. Social media reasons alike, but I just think they've always done a terrible job of promoting they're athletes, and it's the reason why a lot of people turn off baseball, because they don't know the young guys. They don't do a good enough job of promoting that. So I don't know what it is. It's definitely lost its luster, because I'm usually watching the home run derby. Didn't watch the home run derby on Monday night. Didn't care about the home run derby. You know why? Because Shohei Ohtani is not in it. Because the big superstars that should be in it are not in it. And that's the problem. And even baseball writers on ESPN were kind of talking about this. And it kind of goes back to what the slam dunk contest is. The reason why people don't care about it is because the superstars don't care about it. How many slam dunk contests have LeBron James done? None. Why? Well, he doesn't have anything to gain. Oh, he'll get criticism if he doesn't win. What does he have to gain? Well, what he has to gain is to promote the sport. That's what he has to gain. You don't have Shohei Ohtani in that hurts you. That hurts your product. So overall, I think it's the superstars and the promotion of those superstars from the league itself.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And and I think there is just more competition for the viewing audience. I think that's part of it too. So
sure.
I don't know. It just doesn't have the sizzle that it used to have. Let's put up Kenneth McCleary here. Good morning to you, Kenneth, by the way. He says, as far as all-star games goes, I remember being a kid and writing down the starting lineups and doing the scorecard during the game. That was one of my favorite parts. I do too. Like, you're as old as me, I guess. Then it was that big. I actually remember, this is really going to be. Well, I went to summer camp up in Tennessee, and there were no TVs around. Can you imagine that? Like, no TVs around anywhere? Can you imagine?
No, cannot.
No TVs around anywhere. So if your cabin won the inspection award, like if your cabin was the cleanest of the bunch, then you got a ice cream social at the camp director's house, which he lived on property. And that was the only place where there was a television on the entire property. So I was like, hey guys, and it happened to be on the night that the All-Star game was on. I was like, hey, if we keep our cabin clean, we get to watch the All-Star game and get ice cream. And you want to talk, I think I licked the floors that way. Like I made sure everything was spotless.
Of course.
And our cabin won, and I got to see the All-Star game. I got to see Pete Rose, and I think that year the Reds had like 7 starters in the All-Star game. The Big Red Machine was my favorite. And I also remember, this is horrible, I had a transistor radio. So we were in the middle of Tennessee, and at night, on a clear night, you could pick up KDKA out of Pittsburgh. You could pick up the St. Louis Cardinals. You could pick up the Atlanta Braves. I could pick up the Cincinnati Reds and listen to them on radio. Oh my God!
Amazing.
And I'd have it, it's lights out. And I'd have this thing, and I have a little earbud going up to my ear, listening to the game on the radio. Yeah, I was a sports freak, and I'm old. That's story proof.
That's okay though. That was the romantic period of baseball, right? Because you didn't have TV, you didn't have streaming.
Right.
And you had to have a sports broadcaster who could paint a picture like a Picasso, right? You had to do that.
Oh, yes.
To watch the game in your head. I mean, I remember
Harry Carey. I'm listening to Harry Carey out of WGN in Chicago.
Yes, for me it was John Deckroff. That's why I became a Bucs fan, because most of the home games here were blacked out. So
that's right. Yeah.
You listen to Gene call the home games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and sometimes you weren't in front of a TV, so you had to listen. So I always remember Gene. I always remember Dave Logan. And Gene could always paint a picture, still can paint a picture, still can tell a story when it comes to,
back. One more year.
Right, but check this out. Aaron Judge, was he in the home run derby contest? Nope. All right, let's see. Nope. By the way, he's could be a most valuable player. Yep. Gunnar Henderson, was he in the home run?
Yes, he was.
He was. Okay, that's one. Juan Soto, was he in it? Let's see here. Bobby Witt Jr. was in it.
Yep,
and did you have Bryce Harper in that?
No, you did not.
Okay, and then you didn't have Shohei Ohtani in it either, right?
You didn't.
Okay, so that may be the reason why nobody cares about the home run derby contest, because the leading candidates for MVP are not even in it. Come on, Major League Baseball, do better than that.
Same with the slam dunk, and that would certainly help because it would make for a much bigger event on Monday night, which would make Tuesday night bigger, right? Kenneth McCleary says, sorry, keep interjecting. No, sorry, bro. We encourage your comments, please, as many as you want. Yes. We may not read all of them, but we'll try to get some. He said, but to me, they made the All-Star game a show more than a game. To me, it was kind of more of a game than it was a show, if that makes sense. That's a great point. Now, I know they've tried to, whoever wins it gets home field advantage in the World Series. I like that. Freaking play for something. Pray for something. I like that. I think that was something. That was something. There could be more, but I think more than anything is the players cared more. You know? Yeah. Freaking Pete Rose ran over Ray Fosse at home plate. Like it was important. Like they did that in an all-star game because those guys played the game. They wanted to win. Yes. They wanted to win. I just think like so much. I think people are just over so much of the superstardom of professional athletics and everything that goes with it, all the money, all the everything. I said yesterday the commercialism is really completely over the top. It's like, is there anything out there that is not sponsored? Like the socks have a sponsorship on them. The shoes have a sponsorship on them. The hat is obviously sponsored in 17 different places. The jerseys have 16 different patches on them. It's like, good God, enough is enough. Hand them the Gatorade, product plate. Hand them it's just the bats have. There's nothing. There's nothing on that TV screen that is not sponsored.
You ever seen Major League 2 where the guy's losing money and his whole stadium is filled full of advertisements?
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it's like right now. It's full of advertisements. Even a proctologist in the right field.
Really? We have a proctologist, yes.
Well, yeah. Major League Baseball, Major League 2. So you got to watch it. I don't know if you've seen that or not. Have you seen that one? It wasn't it was good. You got to watch it. Yeah. Same thing. It's what Stu would probably be doing for the Rays because you're trying to, gain so much money because you're the little sisters of the poor, right? So you put
we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment.
And
John Hill says the All-Star uniforms were ugly and the game was bad. Watch Park's first inning done. Those uniforms. Oh my God.
Yes.
Those were hideous. I'm not a uniform guy. I mean, where would I? Those were hideous.
Well, Phil Knight falling asleep at the wheel of the car here, being 86 years old. Who is running Nike right now? Because it's been a complete disaster when it comes to uniforms, right? I mean, they dropped the ball with Major League Baseball. They dropped the ball with the All-Star. Who's running
those uniforms? Seriously, who designed those? And here's the thing. I can't get with an Orioles patch being light red or whatever that freaking color was in National League, or whatever they were. It was like it wasn't even bright red. It was like some awful red color. And it was and they had the logos of the other teams in that color. It makes no sense.
None.
Like seeing an Orioles logo that's not orange and black looks stupid.
Yes.
And just the colors they chose, just awful. Like who's designing these things? Like it's not hard. Dude, classic baseball uniforms look so good. It's not hard. Stop trying to F it up, okay?
FU, 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 and FU. Peace out. I'm going to go have a dinner.
The Plunder says, I'm 44. It's been 10 plus years since I have lost most of my interest in MLB. And this is hurting the league. And if you got superstars competing, that would possibly lead folks like me and others back to the sport. Well-spoken guys. Yeah, I think the biggest problem with the All-Star ratings, I haven't seen the ratings yet, but I'm sure they'll be way down, is the fact that baseball ratings. I mean, the All-Star Game, World Series used to be one of the most watched things in television, and now it's not even probably in the top 100. The first 50 are NFL games. I mean, it doesn't even come close. So remember it was like, and they talk about this with the Rays possible new stadium. vote tomorrow, by the way, on my birthday.
On your birthday, by the way.
Ugh, big to me.
Yeah.
They talk about this like, oh, we'll get an all-star game. Maybe. That's a maybe. We'll see.
Well, if you get a new stadium, you should definitely get an all-star game here eventually, because you never had one at Tropicana. Could you imagine an all-star game at Tropicana? No.
All-star game at Tropicana Field. Sponsor the catwalks. You can't like you I was just recently at Truist Park in the Braves Stadium, and one of my favorite parts about it is when you walk around, there's so much space. Like the bathrooms. Thank you, honey. I was like, the bathrooms at Tropicana Field. Are you kidding me? And at Truist Park, the bathrooms are humongous. Like it's like you could play a football game in this bathroom. But in Tropicana Field, like the bathrooms are so small, and the area is like that first and third base line that you walk through, that they had like the little carts on. It's like you could fit like 4 people in between them, like 4 or 5 people. That's it. You go to these other parks, these real baseball parks. I mean, it's cavernous. It's cavernous how much room you have there to move around, and it's a loge level where you can watch the field as well. So it's like, are you serious? You can't hold a graduation in Tropicana Field.
Well, you could hold the rebirth of the hood in there, hopefully next year.
Rick says, licking floors in Tennessee 50 years later, JP was still licking floors during Nashville bar crawl. Well, the price of those drinks? Dude, you spill some on the floor, you better lick it up.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? $75 a round of drinks? Yeah. If it spills, I'm down, man. I'll be looking it up before, absolutely. Jim Sub said, did the Reds get the wild card yet?
It's not over yet. You got a second half of a season here, buddy.
Mickey's going back to the days when they didn't have wild cards.
Yeah, they didn't have any wild card there.
Maybe not. Michael LaRue says, if those numbers are accurate, the stadium deal, that includes real estate surrounding the stadium, needs to be stopped or at least modified. Yes, they're real. They're real. We've done so much stadium talk here. I know people are sick of it, but yeah, if this thing, gets voted affirmative tomorrow, it will be the biggest boondoggle in the history of stadium sports. In a time when every other municipality is rejecting dollars for sports stadiums, and even in Kansas City, the city of St. Petersburg is about to give the biggest subsidy ever. And it's much bigger than the actual official number, because of the Sweetheart real estate deal where they're getting $600 million worth of real estate for about $50 million. It's insane. It's an insane deal for Stu, it's fantastic. It's great for him, and congratulations for him. And as a billionaire, he gets even more money.
Multi-billionaire now, right?
Yeah.
It's also a good thing to.
So I retweeted this. Speaking of the Rays, as we get to this, so I retweeted this. It was from Brooks, one of the great data sites in baseball, and it's something that I've been saying for a long, long time, that people just. I mean, the reporting on this has been silly. So I think you see it right there. There's too much. Okay, there it is.
Nice. Okay.
You see there at the bottom.
Yeah.
It says all the teams ranked and what they spend. Put this. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can put it up on the screen.
I think I'd try to do that.
Okay. So what it basically says is this has all the teams in their 2023 revenues and their 2024 payrolls. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is according to Forbes. And their payrolls are according to Sport Track. So it has the percentage of money they spend on payroll according to their revenues. Like, for instance, the Mets are at the top. Their revenues were $393 million. They spent $342 million on payroll. So 87% of their revenue went to payroll. 87% at the top end. The Blue Jays were next, 328. They spent 246. The Diamondbacks Okay.
Which, by the way, they went to the World Series last year, even though they didn't win with Evan Longoria. Just throwing it out there, guys, that he went to World Series last year.
Their revenues very similar to the Rays. Very similar to the Rays. They're at $314 million. The Rays are at $300 million. The Diamondbacks spent $220 million on payroll, or 70%. And you know how much the Rays spent? Dead last.
I know what it is.
33%. And their revenues were $300 million, and they say their 2024 payroll is $100 million. It's a little bit less than that. But by lower than the A's by percentages, by percentage of what they spent. Lower than the Orioles. Lower than the Tigers. Lower than the Pirates of all places.
Wow.
Of all teams. That's right. So the Rays spend 33% on payroll, and they've done this for their entire existence under Stu Sternberg. Because everybody said, like constantly you read, and people constantly use this false narrative, which I've been fighting forever. Small market team. No, they're not.
No,
They're the 11th. We are the 11th largest market that is not small by any definition. Low revenue. They may be lower revenue than some of these other teams, but these other teams spend the money.
You guys sure you don't want to?
Look, they have 301 million. I think it's a lot more than that. Forbes is typically about 30% off on their values in terms of when teams sell and what they say they were worth. So I always inflate these by about 30%, these numbers, because they're very conservative in what their projected revenues are. I think it's conservative more, but 30% is about what it is when we see the sales. So at if they say 300 million, I would say the Rays are probably closer to 400 million in revenue, but the payroll stays the same because we know what that is. It's a fixed number. So it's actually probably much closer to 400 million, and they're spending 100 million in payroll. So they are the lowest by percentage. And so when you say this is a team that is revenue challenged, yeah, well, other teams are revenue challenged, but they still spend the money on payroll, like the Diamondbacks. The Padres have $345 million in revenue, not much more than the Rays, and they spend $210 million on payroll at 60%. So every other, even these lower, they're paying the money, but the Rays do not. And what has Stu always said? Oh, we put every dollar back into the team.
Right. Sure he does. By the way,
we got proof.
Right.
And this is what makes me crazy is we continue with these silly narratives that they can't spend money. No, it's not that they can't, they won't. And and in reference to the deal that's going down, and one of the commissioners even said this, I think it was Driscoll, who said this, is like, wait, let's look who we're doing business with here. Like, Stu was sued by his partners. Look at this lawsuit. We're gonna do business here, and we're gonna give away the most money we've ever done. And look at their business practices in terms of payroll. They don't put the money back into the team. That's factual. That is factual. And we continue this narrative of their revenue challenge. Oh, no, they're not. They could easily spend, the average payroll would be about 160 million, somewhere in that range. Okay? We can't even get to the average. We can't even get to the average or even come close to the average. With you're making over, on the low end, 300 million in payroll, and you can't spend half of that or revenue. You can't spend half of that on payroll.
Tough to swallow.
Let's say if you spend half of it, you got 150 million left over. Where's that money going? Minor leagues. Oh, yeah, okay. What are we gonna say? 20 million there? All right. Still got 130 left. Where's that money going? Oh, electric bill. Oh, okay, yeah. That's okay. Was that 5 million a year on the high end? Yeah, they probably get a cheap rate from the city. Okay. What do you got? 125 left? What are we doing? How much money is going? Marketing. Okay. Come on.
What marketing? What marketing? That's why when you get this new deal, if you get a new deal tomorrow, if this gets voted on by the council, they need to put in this contract.
It's not in there.
Rays organization needs to spend 15 or higher if they get a new stadium, because we know the statistics, right? The Florida
if you're going to
Marlins,
give away $1 billion, whatever, $600-700 million in real estate, whatever value you want to put. And by the way, I'm not going to be looking at the propaganda things that are the letters to the editor that have compromised people that are saying the land's not worth that. The land's only worth $150 million. You got to be out of your mind. Yeah. So if you're going to give them this much, you should expect a hell of a lot more in return. That's all everybody's saying about this deal. It's what the no home run people are saying. It's like, sure, you want to build a baseball stadium. I think it's foolish to do it there. I think it's a terrible investment of public dollars. But even if you did, even if you go by the false assumption that it's going to work, when there's absolutely no data that would suggest that, all the data suggests it won't work because of the location. Even if you throw that out, which is actually the most important thing that nobody's talking about, even if you throw that out, it's still a ridiculous boondoggle in terms of what you're getting and giving up. And why not? Why can't you put in the contract? Yeah, you got to be in the top 15 in payroll on average over 5 years. It's hard to do it every single year, but give it a 5-year average. Why not? You're going to give them billions of dollars in real estate, then why can't you expect that in return? It's mind blowing. But we'll see what happens with it. But more than anything, from an on the field standpoint, then we keep talking about what are they going to do in the second half? What are they going to do? I'm so sick of talking about we got to make this trade and make this trade. Oh, we can't acquire this player. We can't acquire all those players you saw last night. We have one all-star, Itzhak Paredes, rounded out in the 6th. It's like we're such an afterthought. Look at all these teams with these superstars. Yankees, Orioles, Blue Jays everywhere, all in our division. Red Sox. Duran gets the MVP. Home run. Where are the Rays? They're not. And we don't have guys. Yeah, Shane McClanahan started. That's right. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Right there. There it is. Right there.
All these charts, you can always go to the right and the bottom, and you'll find the Rays. Whether it's payroll, except profit, because then it's profit, you turn it around. So if they have a $201 million I know that's not pure profit, but just in terms of what you spend and your revenues, the chasm there, $201 million. What's the next closest? Probably the A's.
Mm-hmm.
But they're at 160.
And I know it's covering our faces, guys, but we're just trying to show you that this is not. Because both of us have a face for radio at this point, right?
Yeah.
But look at it. I mean, you look at the Mets. I mean, people will go, well, the Mets, they haven't won anything. Does that really make a difference? But they have a chance. We know that you have a chance.
The Mets have won World Series. We've not.
Right. I mean, the Dodgers, they've won a World Series. The Padres, they spent, and the Diamondbacks, they've gotten to a World Series. The Rangers, look at the Rangers. Look at Tim Ham's Rangers at this point.
That's right. And when did their fortunes change? When they went and got great ball players.
Right. And look at their payroll.
And paid the money.
How much they invest. 59% of their payroll to their team there. The Phillies, how good have they been this year? How good have they been the last couple years? Haven't they won a World Series versus the Rays? They did. Sorry to dig the scab, but the scab is there. The Giants, the Cardinals, the Braves. I mean, make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't rocket science. And for people go, well, the Rays get to the World Series. The Rays win plenty of divisions without spending money. But just imagine if they did spend money.
Exactly.
If the Rays ownership invested as much time in their own product as trying to get the city of St. Pete to give them money for a new stadium.
Yes.
There's been one team in the last freaking 30 years that has won a world championship under 15 payroll, and that is the Florida Miami Marlins. That's it. 2003. That's how far you got to go back. You're not playing the odds. You're not playing the analytics. The Rays like to play with the computer. They like to play the analytics. They like to play.
Not when it costs money, though, bro.
Right.
Not when it costs money. That's where they draw the line.
No sense at all.
The numbers tell you got to spend to the median at least. The numbers tell you got to spend in the upper third. But that's not a number that they're ever going to look at because it's always been about making money.
Yep.
And any of you Rays fans, and I'm sorry to be the realist here, if you really think they're trying to win the World Series, they never have. They're trying to make the most money and be as competitive as they can while they make a crap ton of money. That's what it's always been about. It's a fun little endeavor. Yeah, if we're good, we're good. Ooh, let's see how many wins we could get with a payroll under $60 million. Ooh, that was awesome. Yeah, but you're never serious about winning. And we can, we could laugh and Kevin or at Cashman, Brian Cashman, and the Red Sox where they were spending big money and say, you dorks, we spend a fraction of what you do, and we play as good as you in the regular season. But how many banners do we have? I mean, not wild card banners.
Right.
Ooh, we're the 7th wild card. Let's put up a banner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. That's not how they measure success. But if there was a banner for most profit, we would be a dynasty. We would be an absolute, and that graphic pointed it out quite starkly, I would say. All right, we'll take our first break. When we come back, we're going to I'm going to get into a little bit more of the Steven Stamkos goodbye. The NHL Network did a very interesting take on it. I want to play that for you. We're going to talk about the Buccaneers offensive tackles today. That's our position preview. I'd say one of the top 5 tandems in the league, so we'll hit that as well. FSU to the Big 12. Boy, there's a lot of chatter out there, and our friend Brett McMurphy put out a tweet last night that absolutely broke my heart. But I will take umbrage with it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm going to take umbrage with it. So we'll do all that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, my man, is an absolute bulldog, folks. Just got a huge award for one of his clients. We were chatting about that the other night, and he can do the same for you. So if you've been in an accident, go with the local group that supports your local community, supports this show. That's the Jeeves Law Group. Makes a difference, right? JEEVES lawgroup.com. Give them a call over there. Get a free case evaluation. If you have any legal questions at all, call them up. Tell them you heard it on the JP show, and they'll help you out. JeevesLawGroup.com. And TryHydrateHeroes.com. Go to TryHydrateHeroes.com and get your free sample 3-pack, and then buy the 30-pack. It's fantastic. HydrateHeroes.com. Back in 3. Get ready to dazzle this summer with the largest jewelry collection at the Gold and Diamond Source. Feel the heat of July with the fiery brilliance of ruby. That's July's birthstone, ruby. Well, that's my birthstone. I'll take one. It's perfect for adding a touch of luxury to your summer style. Embrace the unique beauty and significance of July's gemstone for any occasion, from beach parties to evening soirees, and mark a special 15th anniversary with a stunning ruby, the traditional gem of this very important milestone. And take advantage of our exclusive offer, 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a $5,000 ring or watch or anything and pay only $83 a month with 0 interest. And when you shop online, you can enjoy a special summer discount of 15% off July's birthstone. Make this summer unforgettable by visiting the Golden Diamond Source and finding the perfect piece to shine in the sun. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmsted Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Gettys Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Gettys Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for tryhydrateheroes.com. That's our new website where you can get a free 3-pack of the great Hydrate Heroes electrolyte hydration drink, all for free. Just go to tryhydrateheroes.com. We'll send you a 3-pack. While you're there, go ahead and buy the 30-pack for just $29.99. Special going on, less than $1 a serving. For all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Folks, a lot of these hydration drinks have tons of sugar, tons of calories. Hydrate Heroes, just 5 calories, and they have all the electrolytes in there, plus other stuff that's going to benefit you. A mushroom blend that will help with inflammation. So much other good stuff in there, none of the bad stuff. It's Hydrate Heroes. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get your free 3-pack. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out, and it is fantastic. They'll send you some. Just go to tryhydrateheroes.com. Get all the information there. Pick up a 30-pack as well. Tryhydrateheroes.com. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, well, some fancy editing there by Tim Ham. Thank you very much, our executive producer.
Killing it there. I know he's in the green room. Great job, Tim.
We love you, Tim.
Love you, man. You do a great job.
Keep that Hydrate Heroes. Help you with that hangover.
That is good, though, by the way. It's good stuff. I had it. It was sugar-free. Definitely hydrated me. I thought it was going to melt out there, but I
tastes like it's got sugar in it, doesn't it?
It was very good. Yeah.
Tim giving himself applause. Well done. Well done. Hey, by the way, I'm going to wind you up.
Oh, wind me up here. What we got? Oh, okay. Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 on a happy hump day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Get in on the phone lines. Join us. Why is the All-Star game suffering right now? Did you watch?
Why is it so boring?
Why is it boring? What do you expect for the Tampa Bay Rays in the second half besides the usual 500? I mean, and I know we're going to shift gears and talk about the Bucs, but, they could have won every game in that series versus the, I almost said Indians, Guardians. They could have won every game in that series versus the Yankees.
That's another stupid thing that baseball does.
What's up?
Make the Indians change their names.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's and we were just talking about Major League. It's hard for me not to say Indians now. It's saying Guardians, but it goes back to the Rays. Like, I know I'm the eternal optimist here, JP, but it's like, is this team ever going to be anything more than what they are, which is 500 or a couple games under 500? And when do we expect them to, start selling guys off if they do get under 500, like a Randy Rosarena or a Zach Eflin?
This year seems to be such a complete divergence from what they've been in years past.
Yeah.
It's just a total cultural shift. Had they lost their manager, it would seem much more appropriate. But they have the same manager. They have a lot of the same players. But for some reason, they have not been a focused team. They've been very erratic. They're horrible fundamentals, bad defensively. These are not hallmarks of what Rays teams are. So maybe it's because of how many pitchers that they lost. Maybe it's because they're keeping players that they probably shouldn't in terms of not wanting to trade them because of the vote that's coming up. I think the Rays in other years may have pulled the trigger on a Randy Arozarena or a Yandy Diaz, but they don't want to do that ahead of the vote or get rid of young players because that would show people demonstratively what they've always done, that they don't care about the fans. It's all about making money. So I get it, but this is a weird year. It's a weird team, and I don't think they're going to get any better in the second half. It's just going to be who they are. And then we'll see from there. Hope at some point maybe the team will be sold, and then there'll be a whole new culture shift.
Will we have a party if they?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we would have a party. I think we'd have to have a JP Peterson party somewhere. Where will we do it? Will we do it at Ferg's, downtown St. Pete there?
No, we'll be at the Hard Rock.
Hard Rock, okay. I like it.
It would be the appropriate place. Trust me. Okay. Trust me on that.
Trust you on that. Well, I trust you always, man.
We find a lot of people at the Hard Rock that would be celebrating.
Maybe a potential sponsor?
We'll just leave it there. Okay. We'll just leave it there. Okay. Please. And by the way, I'm not saying that the Seminole Tribe is going to buy them because obviously they're involved in gaming. But maybe some connection.
Oh, so you give them a little preview, a little tease, like the Rays do every year.
Just leave it there. And just
I'm the Rolex reporter, so I'm going to dig.
Okay.
Jake Paul. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Jake Paul fight. We got a press conference tomorrow.
We got a press conference tomorrow. They're live streaming it. I don't know if we can live stream it or not, but I'm going to try. I'm going to bring all my equipment.
Where is the press conference?
Emily Arena, right back to the scene of the crime. I think it's the same place where we actually met a couple years ago.
Oh, no, we'll have to.
Yeah.
Try to get over there. Jim Sutton says, before we get into some of those other topics, are you watching the USA versus man basketball yet? They play some games before the Olympics start. Yeah, I watched a little bit of them playing Australia yesterday. Struggled against Australia.
Oh, well, by the way, what a travesty on Nike for not including Jaylen Brown in that. How do you leave up? What's worse here? Leaving off Caitlin Clark off the Olympic team there because you don't want to sell, or leaving, I don't know, what, the MVP of the NBA Finals, Jaylen Brown, off the team? Why? Why, Nike? Why did you do that?
Probably something political.
Oh, you think?
If I had to guess.
And maybe that's
it's like everything else in this world today.
Right. And that may be the reason why Nike sales are down, 30 or 40% across the board. Maybe their stock is down because everybody's so sick and tired of the nonsensical political garbage that is trying to be thrown down our throat, trying to be shoved down our throat. Maybe, just maybe.
I would say that's probably correct.
I mean, just get back to sports, Nike. Just do the right thing, right?
Kenneth McClary says, I also think it's because there's no iconic moments anymore in the All-Star game, talking about the baseball All-Star game, such as the aforementioned Pete Rose, Ray Fosse, or Dave Parker cutting down two runners at home plate on absolute bullets. Yeah. Where are those iconic moments? Ohtani hitting a 3-run homer last night was kind of an iconic moment, you thought, until they lost the game. No other help for the National League whatsoever. And that was a cool moment, no question. I thought Paul Skeens against Aaron Judge, that was a moment, and Soto said he was going to get. The Skeens was only going to go one inning, so Soto was batting third, and everybody wanted to see the Skeens Judge matchup, right? Sure. So Soto worked the walk, took a 100-mile-an-hour fastball just off the inside corner that the catcher couldn't even catch, and he walked and brought Judge to the plate, but it was. It just didn't, you thought, okay, here we go. And then I guess he flied out.
It's not John Kruk versus Randy Johnson.
Remember God, that was hilarious. Remember, like, iconic moments, right?
Right. It's not that. That's what you're missing right now. That's what you're missing out of the All-Star game. And it has to be organic, JP. It has to be organic, baseball fans. And if it's not organic, if it's trying to be planned or contrived.
What the hell what happened to John Kruk?
I don't know.
Is he okay? Remember, he was on Sunday night. But I love John Kruk.
Yes.
Great. He was so fun to listen to.
Yeah. We know what happened to Kurt Schilling, don't we?
Yeah. I wonder if there's something similar going on there. Rick says, but JP, the Rays gave us the City Connect jerseys this year. Skateboard.
Yeah, baby. I mean, I like
it. Says iconic like City Connect. Skateboard life. Celebrating the huge skateboard culture of St. Petersburg. I don't even think they allow skateboarders in St. Petersburg on the streets. Seriously. Whatever. Thomas Casper says it's up to Ed. It's true. St. Pete, Florida Council member Ed Montanari will be the key vote whether $1.6 billion taxpayer subsidies of corporate welfare to a private business. And Montanari is running for state senator as a Republican, as a fiscally conservative Republican. Ed, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Is this fiscally conservative? You think? The biggest subsidy in the history of stadiums?
That's actually
I don't think so.
And again, you know,
it's probably unfair to him that that he's seen as the swing vote because there's 8 of them.
Right.
But he's the swing vote, and he'll go down in history as the one who either got it done or didn't get it done. And he may want to be the guy. They'll name a special box after you. I'm sure you'll have tickets for life, Ed. I'm quite sure of that. Probably a lot more in your campaign fund as well.
Hey, you guys want a John Kruk update?
Yes,
please.
Okay, John Kruk still only has one testicle, but he is the color analyst for Phillies TV on NBC Sports Philadelphia. So
See, there you
good.
go. I had no idea on that. Good stuff.
But no longer working for ESPN.
I mean, is anybody?
Not of that political persuasion, that's for sure.
I mean, it's true. It's absolutely true. The ratings are down across the board there, too. Also, why? Because once again, they're shoving down the political aspect of it. People don't want that. They want to get away from that. That's why they watch sports in the first place. That's why they watch this in the first place, to get away from all that political nonsense, you morons.
Yeah, and
Andrea, and this is why.
and we don't want to talk about it, but we have to.
Of
Braves
course.
fans need a temporary backup team. It's Braves or Cubs, both watchable and neutral.
Well, it used to be the Cubs for me when it was on WGN, but WGN are they even in? I mean, it's on Chicago Sportsnet, but that used to be it. That used to be the two teams when you didn't have the Rays and you
I was a Reds fan because I was a big Red Machine fan. And, of course, I used to listen to them on the radio way back in the day.
George Foster, by the way, because you know the story of George Foster and yours truly, right?
No.
Okay, so TJ
As I move
Reeves.
my head, we see that in the back. That's the big red machine behind my head.
Oh, there you go.
All of them in their infield and outfield positions with Johnny Bench crouching in front, all signed, by the way. But, by the way, is there anybody out there that can – when the signatures fade, can redo them? Because my Taylor Swift guitar and my Reds thing, they have faded, unfortunately.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, the great TJ Reeves at the time was doing a show for 820, the team. I did a March Madness update when I was about 16 years old in 1995. I won tickets to a Legends game. Now, when you won that...
Oh, yeah, you guys did that story, yeah.
George Foster was my legend, and if he won the home run derby contest, which I had no idea about Foster, but if he won the home run derby contest, you won all expense-paid tickets to the All-Star game in Texas at Arlington, which, by the way, was my first game, first Major League Baseball game, was an All-Star game, all expense paid by the great TJ Reeves in 820.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That is a fantastic story. My All-Star memory, the first one I ever went to was in Atlanta, and I think it was 2000. It was in 2000. And the home run derby had Sosa and McGuire in it.
Oh my God. gosh.
And Sosa hit a ball that I swear to God is still going. It was up into the upper box, and they measured it at 505 feet. 505 feet, and it was in like the third tier box in the outfield. And I swear to God, that sucker was still going up. It was freaking unbelievable. That was fun. This is interesting. Yeezy says the reason why NFL is blowing away every other major league, every owner wants to win a chip and spend small market or not. Yeah, you never have NFL owners not spending to the cap. You know,
you have to spend like 88% or something like that.
Yeah.
That was put
but that's never a problem. They never have to enforce that. It's
right.
like you have to keep people from going under the cap or over the cap, right?
Right.
And I would say the same thing about almost every other baseball owner, because most of these owners, with the exception of Stu and Fisher in Oakland, and I'd probably put the Pirates in there as well, with the exception of those three ownership groups, everybody wants to win a chip, and most of these guys own teams as a hobby. You know, it's their fun. They're all big money people, and it's I want to own a baseball team and I want to win. I'm going to spend a bunch of money. Look at the Mets. Look at and Cohen. All these guys, and we laugh at them because they spend billions of dollars and don't win. But at least they're trying. You know, it ain't my money. That's the funny thing is about these Rays fans. A lot of you Rays fans are like it's your money. Oh, we don't want to spend $26 million on Tyler Glass now. Like, that's a lot of money. It ain't your money.
Right.
It's not your money. What do you freaking care? I want to win. Yes. Yeah. Oh, he's injured now. I don't give a slip. What if he's pitched great this first half? Right. He's injured again, but hopefully he'll get better. I don't care. You know, who cares? It's not my money. It's better to have him than to not. Is it not?
Oh, well, no. You like Ryan Pepio. I'm Ryan Pepio.
You'd rather have Aaron Savali?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Why not? You don't get through what?
We got to make room for Aaron Savali. We got to get rid of Tyler. It's not your money. What do you freaking care?
Exactly. If you had a power hitter.
Oh, we can't spend. That guy's not worth it. It's not your money.
That's it.
I want to, you know what? As Timmy said, we put $1 billion into Seager and Simeon. You know, and what do you have to show for it? Oh, World Series.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, are they overpaid? Yes, horribly. Are those great contracts? Probably not. Ain't my money.
Nope.
But they can hit. They can hit in the clutch.
Oh, by the way, here's the thing. Breaking news. If you had a couple World Series championships raised and you invested in your product, Stu, you may have a new stadium by now. Just saying.
Shocking development.
I mean, it's amazing. Like the Bucs, they have Tom Brady. Hey, we're going to go all in a couple years. Nobody, of course, that's what you're going to do. You're going to take advantage of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, the blueprint is there. It has been there in the Tampa Bay area. Why is it so hard? It works. Like, don't try to recreate the wheel here. Damn.
And we'll have more on that in our second hour, by the way,
yes.
about the culture that the Lightning created. It's really, really cool stuff from the NHL Network. William Madden, haven't seen you in here before. Welcome, my friend. Love to have you in here and commenting. So if the Rays are sold, who will buy them, or will they move? Would Vinnick buy them? Vinnick is not going to buy them. But there are two local groups that are very interested and have made offers. That is fact for my sources. Been reported elsewhere as well. And I know there has been a renewed push by a group that will keep them here and move and build a stadium in town. They have no desire to build a stadium in St. Peter. But the deal's going to go through. The redevelopment deal is going to go through. That's the first thing they're voting on.
Interesting.
The redevelopment deal is definitely going to go through. The stadium may come later or may not come at all.
Well,
sorry, the team got sold.
It's a shocking development, by the way.
Well, you still got that? You still getting that real estate? Oh yeah, we are. It's in the contract.
How many years have we been through this? Oh, the stadium's gonna get done. The stadium's gonna get done. Yeah.
I mean, just because it would be best for the baseball fans of Tampa Bay, it would be the best for the Rays, long term, everything. Obviously, everybody knows that. Stu has admitted it. The Rays, Brian Auld has admitted it. Everybody's maybe MLB. Everybody's admitted it. Be better off in Tampa, but you got to get a deal done. I get that. Totally get that done. There's still a public-private partnership to be done. I've spoken to people who have been involved in it, and it said, yeah, it hasn't gotten any easier. But yes, if there was a developer who was willing to fund most of it, and there would be some public money available for infrastructure and other things to get the deal done, and it could be done. Deals like this being done all over the United States, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have to have a willing investor, a developer, and an opportunity, and that still exists very much so in Tampa. So yes, there's, and what I would love to see is, listen, if Stu gets the redevelopment deal, fine. I don't care. You want to give him billions of dollars in real estate? I don't care. Good, make him richer. Good for him. Congratulations, Stu.
Because he doesn't have enough money, JP.
Awesome. Love it. Great. But if he were to get that part of it done, and maybe not the stadium doesn't come with it, and it eventually the team gets sold and moved, that would be best for everyone. And that's still a possibility. Will it happen? We'll see. We'll see. Money talks. Money talks. There's a lot of money at stake here. A ton of public money is at stake. And if you don't think there's backdoor deals getting done for votes, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. We are in the age of corruption, folks. We are in the age of corruption. And I'm not saying, and that's no. It's not just St. Pete. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. It's everywhere. So, a lot of shenanigans going on everywhere, as we noted here. John Hill says, charts win over faces every day. Ouch, Ben. That was mean. Any other questions? Do we need to get here too? Because I want to get to the FSU stuff. All right.
You want to go and take a break really quick and then get to that? Because we got to do a state.
That's 11:02. Yeah, let's take a break. We'll come back. I want to get to the FSU stuff, the Bucs stuff in our second half as well. British Open starts tomorrow. That's right. We call this the British Open. And SEC Media Days. Yes, Billy Napier speaking today. Kalen DeBoer speaking today as well. He is as well. So a lot of interesting stuff going on at the SEC Media Days. A lot of football coming up in our second half. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and his team will get you right, whether it's your testosterone, your nutrition, your immune system. We're going to keep you healthy instead of just wait until you get sick to treat you. That's a pretty good idea, isn't it? Staying healthy. Concentrate on staying healthy and being healthy. Does your doctor do that? Probably not. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Kansas 6. Take your pick.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Hump Day Wednesday. If you guys want to jump in, you can always do that by jumping in on YouTube. There's a comment section there. On our Facebook, you can do that as well. My Facebook, JP Peterson, Peter Blake, WATB Facebook page on there. You can also get it on our show Twitter. Follow our show Twitter, by the way, at the JP Peterson Show, as my personal Twitter continues to be inactive.
Did you get that? You didn't get that taken care of yet?
Not yet.
Talk to Elon about it. Yeah, definitely. Open phone line 727-255
or nothing, by the way.
391. Right. 727-255-0391. It's the JP Peterson Show.
So I was just perusing the Brett McMurphy article that he wrote, longtime friend, former colleague, as plugged into college football sources as anybody. And the big headline here is that FSU is undesirable by the Big Ten and the SEC. Now, the SEC stuff, and I believe Brett's at the SEC Media Day, so he's talking to a lot of people. The SEC, Greg Sankey spoke yesterday and said, we're focused on our 16 period. I'm not going to guess what happens next. We can certainly remain at 16 for a long, long time and be incredibly successful. Brett says at the top of the piece, Florida State likely will not have a spot in the Big Ten or SEC if it's successful in leaving the ACC and the ACC stays intact. Sources told the Action Network. That's the key right there. If the ACC stays intact. If and when the Seminoles break free from the ACC, their top choices would be to join the Big Ten or SEC because of the huge difference in television media rights revenue, sources said. However, there are multiple concerns about adding FSU, sources said. Those reasons include the fact that it doesn't make financial sense for either league. Quote, there's no appetite for more expansion, end quote. And FSU has shown, quote, it's not a good
Not a good partner at all, huh? Because they want what's due to them, because they don't want to be screwed over by the College Football Committee and by ESPN. They want to fight. They don't just want to go along with it. Paul Feinbaum, which, by the way, taking shots again at FSU.
That seems to be,
I hate him.
By the way, I'm not questioning what Brett is reporting at all. He is absolutely plugged in, and these are real quotes, not made up quotes. And I don't doubt that. And I've told you this all along. The SEC does not want Florida State. This is not news to me or anybody that listens to this program. And I constantly have people. We talked about this yesterday. We will go to the SEC. I had a former Florida State quarterback who watches the show. I won't name him. We talked about this the other day. He's like, I'd love to go to the SEC. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, partner, it's not happening. It's not happening. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, they don't want FSU, and I don't think FSU should want to go there because they're not wanted. You don't want to go where you're not wanted, right? So the Big Ten has always been and remains my prediction. And I think the Noles will announce before August 15th. This is my educated prediction. We can say that. And I think, I don't know if I probably won't announce right away where they're going, but that will be a process. And it's at this point, there's a lot of chatter about the Big 12 and a private equity agreement being put together that will pay them more money and get them into the Big 12, which will get their revenues per year where maybe even more than what the SEC and Big Ten is making. Now, will that leave them a more prestigious conference? No. Will it give them more attractive home dates? No. Which is why I'd rather be in the Big Ten. But it's better than the ACC, especially an ACC that doesn't have Clemson, North Carolina, Miami, and FSU. So if you read further into it, and I think it's really interesting, these questions, there's clearly he talked to a lot of people that don't like Florida State. Not a lot, but at least a few people that don't like Florida State. And I understand that, because if you're in the business of, doing contracts and being an athletic director, you don't want people upsetting your apple cart. I get that. From the outside looking in, these athletic directors and officials probably look at FSU as a bad actor. But I can guarantee you this. If they were in the same spot as Michael Alford, the athletic director at FSU, they do the same damn thing. If their program was getting 40 cents on the dollar what it was worth, they would do the same damn thing FSU has done. And I guarantee you that. But from the perch that they sit, whether it be, whoever Brett's talking with, they didn't want to go on the record because of the sensitivity. Totally understand that. But, again, I'll read a lot of anonymous sources and go, it's Brett McMurphy. It's true. So that's one. And here are some of the quotes. He said, three SEC presidents recently told the Action Network they had no interest in adding FSU. That, to me, that's an absolute certainty. The Big Ten commissioner, Tony Petitti, is staying away from expansion, and we're taking Tony's lead, a source said. Added another, why would anyone want to expedite more chaos by adding Florida State? For the money. One source, however, cautioned, never say never about FSU going to the Big Ten, because there could be a path if the ACC disintegrates. Quote, if the ACC blows up, who picks first between the Big Ten and the SEC? Who picks second? If there's a need and a desire to expand, you take inventory so your competitors won't get it. But the presidents and chancellors are looking for stability. Despite what the social media geniuses are suggesting, no one, the leagues, the networks, is driving expansion. I get that. But I think when Florida State becomes available, listen, I understand what these folks are saying. I get it. I'm not trying to be an FSU homer. But FSU's media rights are highly sought after. Highly sought after. What you can sell, their games get humongous viewership. That's where the money lies. So does it make sense for the Big Ten to get their media rights? Hell yes, it does. The SEC, a little less so. Because it's and this is the thing, you're not cannibalizing viewers in this situation, especially with the Big Ten. In other words, if FSU averages 3.5 to 4.5 million viewers per game average, obviously the bigger games get more, then you have the rights to sell advertising within those games. That's where the money comes from. So if the Big Ten adds them, that's more inventory that they're going to be selling. Now, obviously, they're going to be playing Big Ten games, but there'll be more games when you add more teams. More games means more advertising spots, more money coming in. And when it's Wake Forest, that money is minuscule. There's no addition to your pot, really. When it's Florida State, it's a huge addition. So, yes, does the Big Ten want FSU to go to the Big 12 or the SEC? No. Would the Big Ten have a bigger footprint? Certainly they don't have a footprint in Florida right now.
None.
So, I mean, to say that they would not add value is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's not factual. It's not factual at all. Now, this could be the opinion of someone who's trying to crap on Florida State. I'm not doubting the accuracy of the quote. I'm just saying whoever said it is not being factual. That's not right.
Right.
So, and all this, everything that Brett is saying and these people are saying is presupposing that the ACC is staying together. On what planet do you see that happen?
I don't.
And I mean the ACC staying together with marquee programs. Because if FSU, Clemson, North Carolina, Miami leave, and I think that's a dead certainty, an economic certainty, what's left in the ACC? I can tell you it's not even worth ESPN paying 50 cents on the dollar that they're paying now. And I can guarantee you they will not pick up the option on the ACC contract if those 4 teams leave, because it's not worth it.
That's true. It's true.
That ought to tell you something. Are you following what I'm saying? I hope I'm not going too far in the weeds here. Does this make sense?
It makes lots of sense, but it doesn't make sense to Paul Feinbaum, who continues to crap on FSU because he says it's North Carolina at the top. I think after that, it's a little bit unknown. There's a million different theories. Would North Carolina take someone with them, or would they just sit around? And this follows the report from McMurphy saying that the SEC or Big Ten would be more interested in North Carolina and Virginia over FSU and Clemson.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to you? No.
And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. And this quote is just dripping with anti-FSU sentiment.
Correct.
And I wish we had a name on it, but we don't. I bet I can guess who it is, but I'm not going to say it. He said,
Curb Street.
Several sources added they weren't convinced they could, quote, trust Florida State as a new member. Anybody in this business knows why FSU is doing it. And to say, you think, what they're saying is, if the FSU got out of the ACC because they're getting 50 cents on the dollar and got into the Big Ten, and once they got in there, you think they would start bitching? No. Just shut up. It doesn't make any sense. But this is what this person said. Look what they did. I'm going to add my stupid accent. There's no question about it.
Do it.
Look what they did. Getting the Attorney General involved, accusing former ACC Commissioner John Swofford of rigging the television rights to help his son, which he did. Factual. It's factual. Accusing. It's in there. Filing a suit to expose ESPN's TV deals. Wonder if this person's in bed with ESPN. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course they have to file a suit because you're trying to keep it secret. You got a freaking case going on here. I mean, this just drips with, I don't know what. Something the other 3 power leagues are against, by the way. Oh, really? The source said they're not a good partner. There's no congeniality. No one wants that. It's not about FSU getting out of the ACC's grant of rights. They're not a fit.
They're not a fit. FSU is not a fit. With their history of a program and the ratings showing they are fit. But they're not.
There's no way that person would ever put his name to that quote.
Of course not. It's like the unnamed general manager saying the guy is going to be a bust, but you don't know who it is. I mean, it could be the mailman, as the former.
No, listen, I trust Brett. This is someone, but that person, if exposed, like if we knew his name, it would take me a minute and a half to. I probably know it off the top of my head, but it'd take me about a minute and a half to find his conflict of interest and why he does not like Florida State. That's about. It wouldn't take long at all. Because I think any mature administrator in the Big Ten that's not at some middling school, that's at a power school, that's driving these teams. I'm talking about Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State. Any mature official would look at that and go, that's just silly. It's silly. Everyone knows why FSU is doing what they're doing, because they're getting pennies on the dollar of what they deserve to get. And as an administrator, my job is to make sure my athletes and my school is being compensated for the brand that we own. And if you're not doing that, you're doing your brand and your school and every athlete there and every administrator there and every fan a huge disservice. And if that person would like to debate me on that, bring it on. Bring it on. So you're saying as administrator, if you were in Florida State shoes, you'd be a good partner. You just sit there and say, okay, sure, we'll take 50 cents on the dollar and make Wake Forest and NC State and
everybody else gets all our money that we're providing. Yeah, we'll just sit here and take it while, Florida gets double what we get, the Gators, and Alabama gets double, and Georgia, and all these teams that we're recruiting against. No, we'll just sit here and bend over and take it. Woohoo! Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll be a good Florida State. We'll just sit here, Paul. Okay, Paul. We'll just sit here and we'll go, okay, sure, we'll take it. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, my own fans. I'm sorry, my own athletes. You're not getting half of what you really should be. But Paul Feinbaum said we should just stay here and shut up. So we got ESPN says we should just shut up and just, let them make all the billions of dollars and we just take it. Yeah, that's what we should do. Yeah. Sorry, pal. No, we're not doing that. F you. No, we're going to stand up for our fans. We're going to stand up for our athletes. We're going to stand up for Florida State University and say, this is wrong. You screwed us, and we're not going to take it anymore. And if we land in the Big 12 or something, we're not going to sit here and effing take it. Okay? Paul Feinbaum, ESPN. So sick of their narratives. Sick of it.
SEC biased at its.
I know the SEC doesn't want Florida State. That's not news.
Right.
I think the Big Ten does. I think anybody in the Big Ten that is they're not good partners. You do the same damn thing. Shut up.
Everybody gets a participation trophy. Don't you know that's the way it is these days, Boomer?
My bad.
That's what it is. What? North Carolina State, Wake Forest, they got to get a participation trophy. Florida State, you got to go about your way. Just go about.
I hate to keep mentioning Wake Forest because they've been kicking our ass.
Well, won't mention that.
And listen, those days are over, though.
Yes.
So, and listen, FSU doesn't want. Do you think they wanted to do this stuff? We've honestly, we tried to be a good partner. We said, look, ACC, we're driving the bus here, man. You got to give us a bigger share of the revenue, or we're gonna leave. And they're like, nope. Got a contract. Sorry. Nope. Sorry. We know you're bringing in all the money, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, my friend. Sorry. They tried to be good partners, and you just told them to F off. So they had no choice. If they're going to do their fiduciary and moral obligation as administrators to look out for the best interest of their school. That's their job, man. I know it's sometimes, in conferences and things like that, there has to be a collective mentality. I totally understand that. And again, they tried to reach that agreement, but the ACC wasn't listening. And so desperate times call for desperate measures, and here we are. So I think it's a fascinating topic. And again, I think Brett did a great job with this story, and he's just quoting the people, and I'm sure they believe what they believe, but I think it's nonsense. I think it's nonsense. Maybe FSU will end up in the Big 12. That maybe happen, but I can guarantee you this: they'll get the money they deserve, and that's where they have to be. That's where they have to be, and I think the ACC is going to be worse off in the end. So we'll see.
Does the Big 12 make sense to you? Besides,
Terribly,
right?
What, does it make sense that Oregon and Washington are going to be playing in conferences in the East?
No.
Does it all of this realignment, does it make sense? No, none of it makes sense. It's all about money. All about money, which is sad when it comes to college sports. But it is about money because they screwed it all up.
Right.
And now everybody has to scramble around and try to get to get what they deserve and to get the most that they can. Because if they don't, then they're going to be left in the dust.
Do you think there's a chance that if the ACC does disintegrate, that FSU would be left out in the cold because of the moves that they made the last couple of years here from the big conferences?
The Big 12 will take them hard at the absolute lowest, and that, no disrespect to the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think they're actually doing a hell of a job in the situation that they were in. They could, and if they were to somehow, come up with the money and poach FSU, Clemson, North Carolina, and Miami, then I'd say, well, okay, that conference suddenly looks, I'm not going to say it would be on par with the names but they're, from a media rights standpoint, they'd have as much or more as those conferences, because those with the private equity, they would make sure that FSU is getting the money they deserve. And that's all they want, is to do right by their athletes, their fans, and their university. I think that's fair. And anybody that wants to debate that, let's go. Paul Feinbaum, let's go.
Yeah.
Neats McGee says, what is the lack of being an NAAU hurting FSU? I think it is hurting FSU, and I think it's hurting FSU because these administrators still want to play like this is about academics.
Well, it's just like the Miami situation. Right? In the 80s, they were supposedly the Harvard of the South. Nobody cared about that. They cared about the national championship.
I don't think anybody ever called Miami the Harvard of the South.
Well, that's what I believe at the time, because they did
the Rutgers of the South, maybe, but not the Harvard.
Well, they did the 30 for 30, and I'm trying to think of the guy.
Academically, Miami has never been seen as a great university, and I think
not at all.
I think that's
not
fair.
Yeah.
But again, this is not about academics. Stop it. Just stop it. And they use the AAU as if the AAU were such an absolute like red line, okay, then Nebraska would have been kicked out when they lost theirs. All right, if that was, it's not. It's the people that want to say that about FSU, I think, probably have an axe to grind on FSU. So, it's funny. The FSU situation is very analogous to the political situation that's going on. You have ESPN on one side, and you have FSU on the other. We know where ESPN is aligned politically, which is weird because it doesn't work with the SEC at all. I'm like, at what point are the SEC fans going to go, the hell's going on here? We're in bed with these guys? That doesn't really work. But I think it's just, and then you have a lot of haters out there. You have a lot of haters out there that are going to spew some BS that I don't think is very true. I think it's true to them. I think it's true in their mindset, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I think the Big Ten would be very interested in FSU for the dollars. But we'll see.
Yeah. This was from the 30 for 30. This was from I don't know if you saw. You probably have. Billy Corbin started off the series. The film began in 1979 when the university was trying to be the Harvard of the South, and then eventually, with all the allegations that came out with the things.
Two Live Crew, Luther Campbell.
Yeah. The guy was trying to go in there and clean it up, and of course that was never Miami. Miami was never going to be cleaned up. The way they won was because of the violations that now we call NIL agreement here, 20 to 30.
Luther Campbell was the original NIL.
Right, exactly.
I'm his club across the street from the university.
This whole nonsense.
All their NIL deals were consummated right there.
Yeah,
and that's why they came to the University of Miami. Hey, listen, FSU's recruiting secret was the social life at FAMU, which was right next door. These players could come here, and they can enjoy the social life of a historically black college at FAMU, and all those fraternities and sororities, along with the social life at FSU, so they could enjoy both. So it'd be like, going to Grambling and also playing on the big stage of Alabama. So I think that was a huge part of their success when recruits came there. So yeah, absolutely. You use whatever you can in recruiting, and Miami did, and they did it very successfully, but that pipeline has been kind of erased. And have they had a lot of success since?
My name's Gene.
No, you haven't. Yeah, you haven't. It's amazing how that works out, right?
Yeah. Our ass handed to them by FSU.
Oh, I love that. Right? Did you say FSU? Because I feel like we got to play the sound effect every time you say FSU. There he is. And of course, anytime we talk about Miami, here's what I have to say.
FU, 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 and FU. Peace out. I'm going to go out again.
I don't feel that way about Miami like I feel about, ESPN and the SEC, what they did to FSU.
Okay.
I'd rather party with Miami fans than those people.
True.
Absolutely. Miami fans do know how to party. Let's not get it twisted.
Well, that's never changed.
I have no effing idea where this is going. Yeah. So Meets McGee says, if every team is AAU, does that hurt FSU? Is the question I'm asking. I think yes. Is there but at what level? Is it 10%? Is it 50%? Is it 80%? At what level does it hurt? I also think that it's a process too. Teams go in and out of schools go in and out of AAU designation, as Nebraska did. So I don't know a ton about this except how it relates to these deals. So FSU will try to become an AAU, and USF is an AAU. So people are saying, well, USF is AAU, so the Big Ten would rather have them than Florida State. And no disrespect to USF, but even Michael Kelly would laugh at that. Come on. It has to do with media rights. And FSUs are infinitely more generous than South. So you're telling me they were going to bring South Florida in, and again, no disrespect to South Florida, and pay them $80 million a year in conference rights, like they're paying Ohio State and Penn State, and give them an $80 million share when their media rights are worth not a lot, like maybe 10% of that. Whereas if they brought Florida State in and gave them $80 million a year, their media rights are valued at $100 million a year. Well, even my FSU math says that works. Any business is going to say, okay, so you're bringing me $100 million, I got to pay you 80. Okay. Or you're bringing me 10 and I got to pay you 80 because you're an AAU university. You're willing, is academics that important to you? Let's find out. The answer to that is a resounding no.
No, it's never.
Does that answer your question, Meets McGee? Well, does it totally disqualify them? I can see them saying Florida State is in the process and very close to gaining that AAU accreditation. So in terms of how that works, and we support their continued endeavor. As we mentioned a couple days ago, there is a legislative ask for $13 million, I believe, for the engineering school or some research part of FSU that will help them get closer to that AAU accreditation. So that's a sign that FSU knows very well, and they are hearing from the Big Ten, we need you to get that, or at least working towards that process. Because they're very close. They're a highly, don't get it twisted. FSU is, I think they're, depending on which rankings you look at, they're a top 50 public university in terms of academics. They're a very highly regarded academic institution, especially in research. They have the supercomputer, all that stuff. They're very highly regarded. They're not some, podunk community college. They're highly regarded academic institution. They just don't have that designation yet, but they're getting close to it. So, and I would assume the Big Ten would say, all right, let's make that happen. So, I hope that answers your question, Meets McGee. I don't think it's a disqualifier, but I could be wrong. I'm not in those meetings.
Nathan Elliott here. I'm a football fan today.
I follow the money, Meets, and that's usually takes us to the right place.
It was the Canes versus the Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl. I walked away a fan of the school and the game of football. Now I feel bad for the U these days. Was that where they absolutely just trounced the Longhorns and they were doing all these celebrations? Was that the mid-'80s for you? Is that what you're talking about? Mid-'80s, 90s?
Yeah, I think that, Was that the oh, yeah.
Yes. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was the Cotton Bowl. I thought it was.
It might have been. I think so. Yeah.
I just remember watching the 30 for 30. If you haven't seen that, the U,
it's tremendous. Billy did a great job of that one.
Even if you're an FSU fan, you appreciate
that was a real documentary, unlike the one on the Gators.
Oh,
that put me in such a horrible light, by the way. But it got me 1 million views on YouTube, so that was good. Oh, you froze, Peter. Look at that. Look at that freeze. I'm going to have to take a picture of that.
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, that's not good. That's like, well, what's going on?
Damn, I missed it. That was a good freeze.
Peter, are you talking about the 1991 Cotton Bowl between the Hurricanes and Longhorns, the 46-3 Hurricanes drubbing?
I believe that's what I'm talking about.
Says the Texas A&M fan who will never forget that.
All right.
He watches it at home. He's got it on a loop.
I do.
And they did so many celebrations, and I believe Mike Francesa at halftime called Miami like disgusting or disgraceful because they were just absolutely putting it on them, and they were celebrating, and they were classless, and it made kids fans of that team, whether you like college football or not. Like, they were the renegades of the 80s and 90s because of that. Nope.
By the way, the head coach of the Hurricanes in 1991 was
Jimmy Johnson,
the great Cowboys head coach. There you go.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson, and then you had not Craig Erickson, Erickson. Who was the Dennis Erickson?
Dennis Erickson.
Yes.
Steve Walsh at quarterback.
Yep. And then you have Butch Davis, by the way.
Also Cowboys assistant coach.
There
All right,
you
I'm
go.
out.
Absolutely.
FU, I'm out.
love it. Go Aggies.
Let's hear. Michael says, I know we're getting into the Bucs and the offensive tackle situation. With Liam Cohen being the offensive coordinator and Bucs not being any rebuild season, if you want to start a rookie center, the guards and tackles have to step up. I have huge expectations for the offensive tackles and offensive guards. I think that's the most intriguing unit that I'm looking at this point when it comes to the Bucs. Not only the
offensive line,
but the offensive line.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break, and when we come back, we shall discuss.
All right.
All right. Our thanks to the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source. It is July, and the July birthstone, which is mine, is Ruby, the Ruby Red. Yes, 15% off online purchases of your rubies. They already have them on discount anyway. And also 15th anniversary gemstone is the Ruby. So if you're coming up on a 15th, that's the stone. Ruby Red, beautiful color. And if you've seen some of the incredible things that they have designed at the Golden Diamond Source with rubies in them, you will love them. So for any July birthday, get that ruby and get it at the Golden Diamond Source right now. Celebrating their 40th anniversary. Great local business. We love championing the local business. Keep it all local, and none better than Julie and Steve Weintraub over there at the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, back in 3 with some Bucs talk and some Steven Stamkos talk as well. I saw him in a Preds uniform. Oh, my God. Terrible. Back in 3. JP here for HydrateHeroes.com, the great electrolyte hydration drink that has all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. NFL players are using this stuff. All types of athletes are using it because it's got 5 calories. None of the bad stuff, all the good stuff. All the electrolytes are in there for you. And also amla fruit, which is a terrific additive in there. The mushroom blend helps with inflammation in your body. Definitely has helped me with my knees. My knee pain has gone away almost exclusively since I started drinking Hydrate Heroes. Folks, it makes a difference. I love it. Professional athletes love it. You will love it. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get a free 3-pack. That's tryhydrateheroes.com, a free 3-pack, and get the 30-pack while you're there for just $29.99. Tryhydrateheroes.com. You'll love it.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to GettysGordonGroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
Get ready to dazzle this summer with the largest jewelry collection at the Gold and Diamond Source. Feel the heat of July with the fiery brilliance of Ruby. That's July's birthstone, Ruby. Well, that's my birthstone. I'll take one. It's perfect for adding a touch of luxury to your summer style. Embrace the unique beauty and significance of July's gemstone for any occasion, from beach parties to evening soirees, and mark a special 15th anniversary with a stunning ruby, the traditional gem of this very important milestone. And take advantage of our exclusive offer, 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a $5,000 ring or watch or anything and pay only $83 a month with zero interest. And when you shop online, you can enjoy a special summer discount of 15% off July's birthstone. Make this summer unforgettable by visiting the Golden Diamond Source and finding the perfect piece to shine in the sun. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on here. Boy, it's been a jam-packed show already.
It has been, absolutely.
These are the days that you're like, oh, what are we going to talk about? And like, we just jam right through it today. Thank you guys for the comments. Good stuff. Great job, Peter. As we continue to roll on.
Can we do another hour? Is there a possibility we could do another hour so I can avoid getting on the phone here?
You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's coming, my friend. It's definitely coming. Trust me. We talked off air about it. Driving a Tesla, by the way, is so much fun.
Nice. Sweet.
It's so much fun. Zero.
You love that Tesla, don't you?
I love it, bro. I absolutely love it.
I love Elon Musk. I'm a big Elon Musk fan. I got his autobiography on Audible and listened to it. Oh, wow.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's a very interesting life story. Very similar to my own, by the way, except for the part where he got really rich.
We're working on that.
He got really smart and really rich. Other than that, absolutely perfect. Our journeys growing up in terms of his father was left at an early age and was kind of in and out of his life, much like my dad. His mom was, a challenge, to say the least. So, and they grew up very, very, very modestly. Won't say poor, but modestly. So it's very interesting. I highly recommend it.
So you're saying there's an opportunity if you have family problems that you're able to overcome that and be successful.
Yeah.
That's
See J.D. Vance, by the way. Go watch Hillbilly Elegy. That's a great story.
There you go.
All right, one quick political thing. So the knucklehead from Ukraine was saying, hey, J.D. Vance, like, what do you know about you? This guy doesn't want to fund Ukraine and blah, 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 Zelensky. And people are like, wait a minute. You were a grade D actor before you were propped up into this position. And he was a Marine. I think he knows a little bit about warfare.
Yeah.
And probably a lot more than you know. Go write some more bad jokes.
He's a devil dog, and they're trained to be killers. That's how it goes when you're.
Just the point is, go watch Hillbilly Elegy and watch the life story of the vice president.
We'll do.
Pick. All right, offensive tackles as we continue our Buccaneers Pro preview, and this is a group that is extremely, I think, top 5 tandem in the league in Tristan Wirfs and Luke Gedeke. And boy, how far has Luke Gedeke come? And again, the thing about Luke Gedeke, and he was terrible left guard. It was not his fault.
Yeah.
It was not his fault.
Out of position.
Completely out of position. It's one of those, blind spots that the Bucs have had. They've done a lot of great things, but they've moved guys certain places. Moving Antoine Winfield into the nickel, bad idea. But they got away from it quickly. Gedeke as a left guard, horrible idea. Because he's been one hell of a right tackle. He played really, really well last year. And, man, you hear him mic'd up, and he's just a funny dude. He's got a great disposition. He's a glass eater. He's so much more comfortable there and played well. And comfortability is so important and because he's confident in that, playing in that position. This is where he's played most of his life, where he made his bread and butter. And you look at the PFF metrics last year, he played, I think he was top 5 right tackle in the league. If you have a top 5 right tackle and a top 5 left tackle by PFF, you're doing pretty good. It's hard to find a better tandem in the league than these two guys. There's not. What more are we going to say about Tristan Wirfs? He allowed 5 sacks, I think, last year, which in his first year as a left tackle going against the cream of the crop and never gets any help, always one-on-one. He's as good as he gets. He's a great leader. I think he'll be even better in year 2 at left tackle. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame if he stays healthy. He's a Hall of Famer, and I don't think that's hyperbole at all. He's just that good. He's that strong. He's that big. Last year he dealt with a couple injuries. Let's hope that is not something that is chronic and keeps bothering him, because just from a talent standpoint, technique, everything, the dude is tremendous. And I think Liam Cohen will utilize him more than certainly Dave Canales did. How do you say utilize him more? You can game plan. You can call plays for offensive linemen. That's right. I said you can use their unique talents and get them in situations, especially in the run game, and almost exclusively in the run game, where you can, and it's not just simply lining up and running behind them. It's putting them in special packages where they'll be, if you're a good offensive coordinator, I'll try to keep this as simple as I can. There's a 5 technique tackle or a 3 technique tackle or someone that who's really good at setting the edge. And what you want to do is get your best player up against their best player and make sure that is neutralized. And that's going to, and if you can game plan in that way through your blocking schemes, it makes everybody else's job, because normally you have to double team their best player, like a J.J. Watt. You got to double team him in the run game or you're not going anywhere. Back in his day, T.J. Watt, same way. The best of these guys, you have to double team them in order to get any flow in the run game. Even on their backside, almost even back when you run away from them, you've got to account for them. Most times you don't even account for guys like that. So they have to be, and you can neutralize them with your best player. Tristan Wirfs is good enough to do that. So if you're really good in the run game in terms of your blocking schemes, and I think Liam Cohen is really good, at least he's shown that in the teams that he's been with in Kentucky and the Rams. I think he'll be able to utilize Tristan Wirfs in the run game, and I think it'll be much more successful. Now, you add Graham Barton, which we talked about yesterday, and these 2 tackles, and Gedeke's really good in the run game as well. So I think both of these guys, they're athletic enough, especially Wirfs, to be moved, pulled, screen game, all those things. Take advantage of their unique abilities, and I think this offense will be better. And I think Liam Cohen can do what Dave Canales could not, and that's find the key to the running game. Now, behind them, Peter, you boys better stay healthy, because I don't have a lot of faith in Justin School.
No, not in favor.
I don't have a lot of faith in Brandon Walton. A little bit of faith in Brandon Walton, but not. And I'm here to say, nobody has depth on the offensive tackle in this league. But our team, especially now, Robert Hainsey's listed as the backup center. He played tackle at Notre Dame. So I think in a pinch, you'd probably see a Hainsey bumped out to tackle. I think he could do it. I don't know about Opeta. I think he's played Ben Bredesen. I think he's played a little bit of tackle. So I think there's a couple guys on this league that have on this team that are listed on interior that could also be bounced out and have some some experience doing it. So, but please, both of you guys stay healthy. Both of you guys. Your thoughts on the offensive tackle?
Yeah, I mean, again, you talk about it. Tristan Wirfs could possibly become the best left tackle in the league. Of course, we know we're awaiting that contract extension from Jason Light, so you can have that boat parade. But I think, it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to get him re-signed. He will become the best left tackle in this league by far because he's able to show that. He's been in those moments where he comes in as a rookie to be the right tackle and shut down Cam Jordan for the Saints and not hear from Cam Jordan again. So I think, the whole the conversation last year was how would he perform at the left tackle spot? He performed absolutely like we thought he would at right tackle. And then the other one, like you said, Gedeke definitely played out of position there as a guard. Now he's more in his natural position as a right tackle. You look again at the Pro Football Focus grades. I think you have to be excited about it that the Bucs in general have two bookends for the next 10 years at the left tackle and at the right tackle spot. Is there any time in the history of watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans that you could say you had two bookend? I know you have Paul Gruber, the human turnstile. Donovan Smith, he played well there a couple years. I don't know if you call it that. As many penalties as the Bucs had the last 10 years, the majority of those were from Donovan Smith. Any time in history, can you remember where you had two bookends at left and right tackle? I don't think you can. So
these two could hopefully, if they could be together for 10 years and have that continuity on the offensive line, it'd be fantastic. You got to, as good as they are, they're going to be tough to pay, both of them. And when Gedeke comes up, if he continues to play the way he's playing, that's what's so hard in the salary cap league to keep good offensive linemen. They're tough to keep because they are coveted, and when they hit free agency, people will pay them. They will pay them because they're so damn hard to find and so damn hard to draft. So. All right, before we go, I wanted to get to the Steven Stamkos thing. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the goodbye letter that he penned in the Players Tribune and gave you some excerpts from it. And it was absolutely heartbreaking, gut-wrenching as a Lightning fan to read it. And then today, the Predators put out a video of them welcoming Stamkos into the locker room, gave him his jersey, gave him the whole, welcome to Nashville thing. And I'm happy for Steven. I'm really happy for him and his family. And to land anywhere, I'm so happy it's Nashville. There's Sean Henry and Billy Wickett, longtime Lightning employees, are running that organization now and running it very much like the Lightning did. I can see that team is on the come, not only for the inside stuff that's going on the ice, but the outside stuff on the ice, the inside stuff. That franchise is being very well run and very much in a Lightning way. So that was tough to watch. It was really tough to watch, but it's part of the business. Lightning will move on, Stamkos will move on, but you can't, as a Lightning fan, read that thing and see that and just not be kicked in the nuts. It's
heartbroken. It's heartbreaking, and you didn't want to. And that's the sad side of business and sports, right there. Is him moving on. I mean, who wants to see John Lynch in a Denver Bronco uniform? Who wants to see Warren Sapp in a Raider uniform? I mean, those are tough. Marty St. Louis in a Ranger uniform, not good. But it's a part of it.
Do you have that audio?
I do. I got it. You ready?
This is from the NHL Network. Well, go ahead and play it, and I'll let you know who these guys are. They did a great job.
You did a deep dive, a deep read on that article, and the name Steven the last name could be King, the way that he penned this goodbye. Quite the author.
Wow. I was really, truly blown away. Obviously, he's a very cerebral hockey player, but man, that boy can put pen to paper.
Certainly can. Yeah, and you could tell this was obviously weighing on him. It was a tough decision to make and whatnot, but penning his official goodbye and pulled a couple of excerpts from the article, and if you hadn't had a chance to read it, we certainly recommend you do that. But take a look at this. I think that the culture of hard work, of accountability, goes back years, and I hope it goes on long after me. After Marty left and I became captain, I really tried to take the things I learned from him and make them my own. Stamkos goes on to say, and as the years went on, I followed in the footsteps of so many of the great players I suited up with. Vinny, Gary Roberts, Ryan Malone, Mark Recchi, Brendan Morrow, Ryan McDonough, McDonough, Ryan Callahan. I just tried to absorb as much as I could so I could be the type of leader Tampa Bay deserved. And it all came together in 2015. That skills, speed, work ethic, our swagger, it was all there. And you talked about playing against some of those guys that he mentioned in the article and what that experience was like for you.
Boy, he brought up Vinny and Marty and 04 Stanley Cup, the Islanders. We caught them the first round. The first thing that come into my mind, 2 words, relentless, compete, excuse me. The way these guys worked, obviously they had a ton of skill. We knew they had a ton of skill. They got Habibul and Wall behind there. They got St. Louis, Richards. They got Vinny Lecavalier. But the thing that blew us away was the way they competed, the way they played the game. Their core was smart, solid, simple hockey. And I love the way that Steven Stamkos has talked about that. I truly respect the Tampa Bay Lightning so much for this organization. I got a chance to play with them. Got about 20 games there to see Stamkos, to see Marty, to see Vinny, finally be on that side instead of against them. And boy, was it a great feeling, let me tell you. But to see the way they operated from day to day in the locker room, there was so much intensity inside the players. The Marty and Vinny and the leaders had such a high expectation level for us all that Taka would come in at times and he'd almost have to be the good guy. We'd be on ourselves so much, and it's such a rare occasion. The only other time I saw that was when I was in Dallas, and that was the only team where that just, because of the organization that you were with, because of how they treated you, you felt absolutely obligated. And not necessarily, and I apologize to all you owners, but it was the guys, because of the people they had working for them. Yeah. It's the people behind the scenes are just amazing people. I love everything that Stammer said right there. I mean, isn't that exactly what you hope everyone says? Absolutely as classy as can be. He's been an incredible leader. The names he rattled off right there who he got to learn from, he'll be the first one to tell you, obviously pretty lucky to get in front of those guys and learn from those great hockey players. But you can't take away from what Steven has done. He's the Tampa Bay Lightning. He is the face of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Whew. Wow. There's a lot there. It was great stuff. I wanted to bring it to you guys. And that was Mark Parrish, the analyst there, and Jameson Coyle is the host there. And you hear him talk about the legacy that Marty and Vinny left, and smart, solid hockey, in the compete level, and that's how you win a cup, man. All teams are talented. It's like who's going to play the hardest, the longest, and that's what it comes down to. And Florida showed you that this year when the Lightning won the cup, and it was that legacy of 04 and John Tortorella and the way he had them play in that leadership group that Stamkos picked up on, oddly enough, right? And then brought that forward and championed that, and the expectations and the accountability came from him. And with him gone, where does that fall? Where does that fall? Somebody's got to pick it. As Stamkos picked it up from those guys, somebody's got to pick up the baton from him. And who's that going to be? Is it going to be Ryan McDonough? Sure. Is it going to be Victor Hedman? Sure. Is it going to be Kucherov? Probably not. He's a different cat. Vasilevsky could be him. Some of these guys, they know what the expectations are. They know they can hold people accountable. Is it going to be Braden Point? Is it going to be Anthony Cirelli? It's your turn, guys. It's your turn to carry on this legacy and this accountability. And you got to step up to the plate and do it. And we shall see. But this is what you lose in Steven Stamkos. It's not the on-ice stuff. The Lightning on paper, on ice, are a better team now than they were last year, in my opinion. But will they win as many games? Will they win a cup? We shall see. We shall see.
Yes, sir. JP, you want a quick Kalen DeLoach update if you guys are done with
Sure.
Kalen DeLoach selected number 19 overall this morning by the Arlington Renegades in the UFL college entry draft.
Sorry, he's busy.
So what this means, I mean, you're laughing. If he doesn't think he's going to make the roster or have a significant role on the team, he can come play in Arlington next year in kind of like a prove-it deal, and the Bucs still own his rights. So this is like a development league. If they think he's going to get more playing time in Arlington, which of course he will because he'll be a starter, they can send him out to Arlington, let him play, and then they can keep him for next season. So I'm just throwing that out there. We're all Kalen DeLoach.
Well, when does that decision have to be made? Not now.
I think before they go to camp. So yeah,
Before they go to camp, well, he's going to camp. I think
so.
I think everybody's talking about him, and he's going to be. We had Shelton Quarles on yesterday. You know that.
I think he makes the roster. Actually,
oh yeah, he's making the roster. I mean, I'm going to say definitely he's undrafted, but I think he's making the roster. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
So sorry, hands off.
Yeah. I got to put this in there, going back to the human turnstile, because I'll never quit when it comes to Donovan Smith.
No, you won't.
The Bucs played 227 regular season games, keep in mind, from 10 to 23. In that window, Donovan Smith played in 124, 55% of them. Smith had 59 penalties as a Buc. That amounts to 4% of all the Bucs penalties between 10 and 23, despite missing, get this, 45% of the games. You wonder why.
Wow. What did he do to you personally? There's something he did to you personally. We need to know.
Wow.
We need to know about.
And people will say, fans will
It's
say,
a thing. It's a thing.
well, it's like you with Stu. I mean, we're on the same page when it comes to Stu. But, people will say, we shouldn't have got rid of him because he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Well, I have some thoughts. Yes, I have some thoughts.
We both have some thoughts on that situation. We'll never.
I have $500,000 worth of thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. Great show, my friend Peter Blake. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
We had fun today. If you guys missed anything, don't forget to check out our podcast on Apple and Spotify. Like and subscribe, and set the notifications there so you know when it drops every day. Just about noon. You can listen to it as you like. Same thing on YouTube, obviously on our Facebook page as well. Twitter is something we are currently working on, but you can watch it there. We put a link. So anywhere you want, you can find us. Just Google the JP Peterson Show. Have a great day, everybody. We will be back tomorrow with Billy Napier talking at the SEC Media Days as he did today. We'll play for you tomorrow. See you then.
Happy birthday!